Madam Chair. Sometimes some of us think that we're living in two different worlds. One world is here, and we listen to the group of you giving us very calm assurances that everything is okay, under control, and there are no problems, that you're lending out all this money, and that everything is honky-dory. And then we leave here and go home to our districts all over America, and I think we all hear basically the same thing. And that's the voices from the other world, the real world, where people can't get loans, where people can't refinance their homes, where people can't buy automobiles, can't send their children to college. And we listen to you, and we hear words, 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 and no answer. It seems to me, and to some of us, that this money hasn't reached the street, that you're not loaning it out. When the press makes inquiries as to what you did with the first tranche of money that we gave you, many billions of dollars, your answer is it's none of your business, and we don't have to tell you because we weren't required to. And, if you want new restrictions on what we do and what we have to do, then put it in the next tranche of money. The fact that we heard from so many of you that you've made so many loans in the past year is not reassuring, because that's what you're supposed to do. But what did you do with the new money? And that's not really anything that many of you have addressed today. And it seems to me that of the $302.6 billion that have gone out in TARP, the 8 firms that you represent have received $165 billion, much more than half of all the money that we've lent to almost 300 institutions across America. How do you explain that?
Can I take a crack at that, Mr. Congressman? First of all,
yes,
I think what you heard is I think what I heard is that every person up here believes the government absolutely has the right to ask the question about the TARP money, what we're doing, that we're doing things in the best interest of the company.
Why didn't we get answers? Why didn't the press get answers? Why didn't anybody get an answer?
I can't explain what the press. I'm telling you that everyone here has said that, is doing everything they can to do it right. There is something that explains part of the difference of what you're saying, and bank lending is kind of flat year over year, up a little bit or down a little bit, and one of the other congressmen mentioned it. There is a huge amount of non-bank lending which has disappeared, which is the same thing to the consumer. Finance companies, car finance companies, mortgage companies, countrywide, funds, money funds, bond funds that did withdraw money from the system and make it much harder in the system. That created some of this crisis we have.
Can you give us a list of what you did? How many billion did your company get?
We got $25 billion.
Could you tell us what you did with $25 billion? Not what you did with all your other money, but with that $25 billion.
I believe that we lent out probably exclusively because of that, probably $50 to $75 billion within a couple of weeks of that. Most of that being in government not-for-profit, $1 billion for the state of Illinois, interbank lending, the purchase of mortgage securities.
Why can't people get mortgages?
I believe that mortgage, we did I forgot the number, $35 billion in mortgage originations.
What did you do last year, the year before?
In this same quarter, I don't remember the number, but I'd say approximately the same.
So with $25 billion more, you